Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kazmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next minutes. Health Committee of Parliament meets members of striking Ghana Registered Nurses and Leadership Association as industrial action continues to hamper healthcare delivery. Also coming up, National Communications Authority (NCA) directs several defaulting FM broadcasting stations across the country to immediately suspend operations due to persistent violations of broadcasting regulations. And much later, Ghana continues to record new mpox cases almost daily, raising serious public health concerns. Very much for joining us this afternoon. Now, the Health Committee of Parliament is expected to meet the leadership of the striking Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association (GRNMA) today, Thursday, the 12th of June. This is part of moves to help resolve the ongoing industrial action by the association. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association declared a strike on June 2 to demand the implementation of its 2024 collective agreement. The industrial action has since been on. Now, the government, as part of efforts to resolve the impasse, has proposed that the agreement be implemented in 2026, arguing that implementing the agreement now will throw the budget off gear. But the nurses remain resolute, and will be going live to our correspondent who are monitoring the situation from across the country for us. As we do that, the Ghana Health Service is also urging individuals who experience any symptoms of mpox to report to the nearest health facility without delay. Ghana has now recorded about 85 cases of mpox. The Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Beatrice Adu, spoke earlier on New Day on TV3.
I would say it's common, it's also uncommon, because you can have people who have rashes, but they will perceive it as chicken pox. So what is happening is that there were a number of people who had rashes and they didn't think it was anything serious until it became severe. They had to be admitted. So we realized that a number of people have been exposed to the virus at the point in time. So as you have such a situation, then you tend to have a number of them reporting. Now that we declared an outbreak. So what we are seeing is that now, because of the increased awareness of the disease, people who that would have thought it's a chicken pox will now come and report. So for us, as a service, we are looking at the duration of report. It's a concern. If you are coming early, it means that our message is quite right. So if you look at the data across the country, so there are 3 regions that have reasonable number of cases. So we have Western North, and Greater Accra. But if you look at it by district, it's 2 districts. I will say Takwa, Israel, and Aoui. The rest are more of sporadic cases scattered across. So it is not, I would say, a full-blown kind of outbreak, just that there are pockets which we classify as hotspots. Yeah, so what is most important is for the populace to know that there's a disease called mpox and how it spreads. So that's the way we are trying to communicate with the Ghanaian. It's a disease of contact. So it's you can get it by direct contact or indirect contact. So it's like, issues about shaking, hugging, or kissing. And at times people think that mpox is an STI, sexual transmitted infection. No, but there's a contact which is maybe quite close when you have sex. So you tend to have some cases which is coming from maybe man to man or man to woman. So that's also a concern. So we are engaging all key persons involved in managing health workers to be able to make sure that they communicate clearly.
And you heard that the Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Beatrice Adu, and we'll return to some more health issues. But ahead of that, the government says that it has initiated processes to extradite former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta from abroad. Deputy Attorney General Justice Ramsay has confirmed that the Office of the Attorney General is leading the coordination of the extradition efforts with foreign governments. Both the Economic and Organized Crime Office and the National Intelligence Bureau, according to the Deputy Attorney General, have an interest in his arrival into the country. These two state agencies have reportedly launched separate active investigations into the former finance minister's financial dealings during his tenure as finance minister, in addition to efforts by the Office of the Special Prosecutor to get him to answer some questions regarding alleged financial misconduct. So let's listen to Shremsai speaking to Accra-based Joy News.
Mpox, I'll say, is common.
The former Minister of Finance is currently in court. He is challenging a lot of things. That shows you that he himself has confidence in the judiciary and is willing to explore the options that are available to him. So why should we be more interested in political commentary? In any case, it is not only the OSP that is investigating the former finance minister. Yoko is doing the same. NIB is doing the same. So long as the Attorney General office is involved in the coordination, we will not allow one. It's waste of resources, and it's also abuse of the right of a suspect to be dragged before multiple investigating agencies in respect of the same thing. So we will not allow that. The fact that they are looking for him to assist in investigation, that itself does not mean that he's a suspect or he's an accused person or anything. It's just that the office he occupied is an office which deals with money. So, and sometimes documents are enough to satisfy us on what we are looking for. Sometimes you need someone to speak to the document to be able to even get other people, as accused persons. We need someone to speak to the document.
And you had the Deputy Attorney General Justice Shremsai. Let's speak to security fraud and security consultant Richard Kumado. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, Beatrice.
The Attorney General's Department as well as the OSP both perform different functions. I'm wondering how you take the two agencies investigating the same matter at the same time.
No, basically, OSP office is part of the investigative agencies in Ghana. What Attorney General does is that all matters relating to prosecution, it goes to the Attorney General Department and they coordinate that. Because if Yoko should go to court with a suspect who is standing trial, then Yoko can only go as a crime witness. But it's Attorney General that represents the state and performs a function as a prosecutor. And so Yoko and OSP, the BNI, the police, and many other institutions in the area of investigations and prosecutions authorities perform almost the same function, but with different interests and different objectives. But for the Attorney General Department, it is a different department on its own. When I was working at BNI, we go to court to prosecute cases. We have changed it slightly, and today the Attorney General become the number one prosecutor and the number one law enforcement officer in this country, and that is where we are. Secondly, I was asked how the convergence criteria is. So there are two things involved. All investigation outcomes that borders on national security interest decision-making purposes ends up at the National Security Council meeting with the National Security Coordinator as the chair, because these institutions are National Security Council institutions performing respective independent roles. But all other outcomes that borders on prosecutions, that means that prosecution is on the table, will virtually end up with Attorney General and the officers who work there. And in building the crime evidence, and that is where whatever everybody has at their skin or as outcome of the whatever they have done as investigation, they bring it on board and they look at it and prefer charges against crimes, people who are standing trial as criminals.
Help us understand what it means for a country to activate that extradition process with another country.
So what it means is that countries all over the world have various protocols. One of them is extradition, another one is deportation. And you need to deliberately sign it with other countries. But when you take the platform of the Interpol, or what we call the Interpol platform, it's a platform predominantly set up by the police, and it's worldwide, knowing that the police might be dealing with crime or investigating crime and want to prosecute somebody, and they might not find a person. Then you can go to the Interpol platform and activate the protocol of red flags and white flags and blue and yellow and I think black. And it helps them in dealing with all related crime activities, internally and externally. Now, when you take the law enforcement agencies in general or investigative agencies in general, they have also various platforms and they have various protocols. And one of them nations or nationals have signed on to is the extradition. So if you don't have the extradition with a particular country, you can also activate some other platform or some other protocols that helps you to achieve the same objective. And that is where we are. But predominantly, there are some countries that you may not have extradition and need to take a legal battle in order to get the person standing the trial to come back.
And my final question to you, what does the collaboration of these institutions just to bring one person to the country mean for the fight against corruption or suspected cases of using the state's money for other reasons?
Definitely, it's a good one because when you are collaborating, you have a lot of expertise at your disposal and you have a lot of skills at your disposal, and it makes resource usefulness very effective. And they can manage their resources with their international contacts and connections, and it helps them to achieve the results they are looking for within the shortest possible time. So interagency collaboration is always the best. Interagency collaboration gives you the right results at a speedy rate, and it makes the work very quality, and you'll be good to go.
Mr. Kumado, thank you very much for speaking to us. And you had there Richard Kumado. He is fraud and security analyst. And some 13 minutes past the hour of 12. When we come back, we'll bring you some more. Don't go away.
Hello, Ghana. It's a new year and Bills Microcredit is here to support your dreams. If you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no SUSI savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today. Call 0596 920 833 or 0302 200 390 and get started. Bills is licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
Freezer, yeah, diaba. Adama for diaba, a freezer. Adama, a Quaposementia. Adama, Metimosua, my sorry. Canino, Obo Moasia. I do for the Nobium Unum and San last night. I don't know what we did. Adama for Adama, who said, yeah, the Adruba Cope, a ship will be a high technology. I go for freezer. When Kwan, and once open your 15 letters. No Fiogum, what ya no Fiogum. What the bus here, if we be any of us, you, equity self, over Timono. Then we sure say, woman shown task here. Then what's enough for now? Freezer, power up a day. Freezer,
Dacia, a person does so among Ammoniaji.
To me, Miwasika, to me, but you may not do some doom. Adama, with that Adama, no queer. Adama, you can't resist.
Ubenya Adama West Africa for a dream or baby bear a tongue cry on you. I say Kayona Kenkai in Choya a dream.
Some 15 minutes past the hour of 12. This is still the midday news on 3FM 92.7. I was telling you earlier about the strike, the ongoing strike by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. If you're just joining us, this strike has already entered day 9, and we do know that the withdrawal of total services by the nurses at various health centers across the country is already having a great impact. Let's go to the Ashanti region now, where Evans Income is standing by for us. William, just tell us where you've been and what you can report from the region.
Well, so Beatrice, I've been to the Sontreso Government Hospital, and I can tell you the situation there is very dire. So we're talking about nurses contributing to about 80% of duties there. And if you go to the OPD, or if you come to the OPD, I mean, it is very obvious. The evidence of how hard the current unpassed is fighting is very, very glaring. And most patients who are coming there or turning up at the OPD have been asked to seek private facilities or go to private facilities to seek health care. So that is the situation here. But there are certain units that appear to have dire consequences. So, for instance, if you go to the mother and baby unit, there are only 3 in there. One has on Treso, Menchia Government Hospital, and the Governor Teaching Hospital. So you understand the level of pressure. If you come to that particular unit, I mean, newborn babies or premature babies are now, I mean, bearing the brunt. Only the doctors are attending to them. There's no nurse to take care of them, and they are overwhelmed by the cases.
Now, when you say that the situation is very dire, are you able to paint a picture of us? What kind of situations you saw? The reason you're describing it as such.
Well, so as I mentioned earlier on, the mother and baby units, newborn babies or premature babies, who will need the nurses to sometimes administer the drugs and then also perform certain basic work on them, they are not there. And for instance, I saw only one doctor doing that. And you can see the number of babies who are lying in incubators, I mean, waiting or crying for attention, but there's no nurse to attend to them. The maternity ward, the situation is very dire. I mean, nursing mothers coming around, but being turned around, asked to seek health care from private facilities, and what have you. If you go to the HIV unit, the nurses, if they were there, they will be administering the antiretroviral drugs to the patients who have been coming there for their routine checkups and what have you. But they are not there, and that particular unit is virtually not working. So that is the situation at the moment.
Thank you very much, William Evans Inkum. He's our Northern Bureau Chief, and he spoke to one medical superintendent at one of the hospitals he visited. Let's listen to this person.
The security at the gate will often tell them they are not around. So most of them do not even come in. And of course, people have heard that the nurses are not around and we are not operating critical cases, and therefore they don't even enter the facilities. Few ones that will be driven here or driven here are also asked to go to another place, and those who walk in critical will then be assisted with the ambulance to go to where they can get the services.
And he had a medical superintendent at a health facility in the Ashanti region. The 24-hour Economy Secretariat has kick-started processes to establish 6 textile and garment parks in 6 regions across the country. The Tema and Takoradi ports are expected to operate 24 hours after an official launch of the 24-hour economy on July 1, 2025. The initiative, which seeks to revive collapsed textile factories, is also expected to significantly reduce the importation of foreign garments into Ghana. Speaking at the Ghana Horticulture Expo, President Mahama said that the government will be deliberate in its revenue drive as it prioritizes export.
The government has made some progress in stabilizing some key microeconomic indicators. For instance, inflation declining, cedi stability. That should suggest something in terms of microeconomic indicators. Then we have fuel pricing going up, and that of transportation fare, suggesting that there's a pressure. Then issue of debt reduction as a result of cedi appreciation. So I'm looking at these gains are temporal. They're short term. But you see, structural challenges remain. Yeah. Interest rates on a high side. What are you doing? You stifle business and access to credit. We have issues on power sector debt and outages. You rather affect industrialization. I am saying that we want to see domestic policies that you can talk about. For instance, the 24-hour economy, which happens to be the game changer. It's in the room. What is happening?
And you rather heard executive for the 24-hour economy. And we do have on the line with us Asaki Samson Awengobet. He's the Executive Secretary, Importers and Exporters Association. He joins us on the phone. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your listeners and your viewers worldwide.
Would you say from your end that everything is set for the implementation of the 24-hour economy? And what I mean by that is whether or not your members are ready to take advantage of this.
Why not? Business communities are prepared. especially this 24-hour economy is not only to promote import alone, it's to promote export, especially agribusiness, where Ghanaians producer will have to add more value addition to the product that we are producing here in Ghana for onward export. And so I can tell you quite clearly that is the way to go. And then the port authorities are really prepared. Tema Port has all the equipment, the logistics to handle. All what we want to do is that producers should produce more in abundance, and then government will fund market. Now that thankfully we've had a good news that Africa, China just yesterday or so has given some tariff-free, zero tariff for products that are coming from Africa, and Ghana is part of it. And so we need to export more. Now that American government Donald Trump was imposing 10% tariff on us, and that's calling that we have to come and negotiate within 90 days. We can look for Far East, to export our produce there. And so I think it has come at the right time that China is giving us zero duty-free tariff. Then the President Mama is also giving us 24-hour economy. What it means is that Ghanaian produce we should scale up in production, and then our port will work 24 hours. We have the infrastructure, we have the logistics, we have the systems in the port, and I don't think that what Ghanaians should be happy that the government is taking such a bold decision. What it means is that we have to employ more people who had new employment, and that is what the youth that are complaining about unemployment. When we are going to expand and scale up the production, definitely you need to put more people. When they are going to do 24-hour economy, port operations, the port operation will also need more. Factories will need more hands to produce, and that is the surest way to go. And I think this is the good news for Ghana. This is the good news for Africa.
I know you talked about our ports being ready. The government intends to launch this initiative on the 1st of July. In terms of your members, do you have an idea, data, how many of them are ready to, just get on the moment this is launched?
No, whilst custom will be working, whilst the port authority will be working, whilst the shipping lines will be working, we will be ready to work. We do not need to have a statistics. Ghanaians are exporting all over the world. So that is the way to go, my brother.
Thank you very much. And you had there Asaki Samson Awengobit. He's the Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association. Now, the National Communications Authority, NCA, has directed several defaulting FM broadcasting stations across the country to immediately suspend operations due to persistent violations of broadcasting regulations. The directive follows an order from the Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, instructing the NCA to enforce sanctions on stations found non-compliant during a recent sector-wide audit. The infractions, according to the NCA, violate key provisions of the Electronic Communications Act 2008, Act 775, and the Electronic Communications Regulations 2011, LI 1991. In the first phase of enforcement, the NCA identified 62 FM stations with varying regulatory breaches. The affected stations have been ordered to halt broadcasting until all regulatory issues are resolved and proper authorizations obtained. While emphasizing the crucial role of radio broadcasting in national development, the NCA warned that continued non-compliance could lead to severe penalties, including the revocation of broadcasting rights. Let me take you through a little bit more in terms of the defaulting categories. 28 stations found operating with expired authorizations. 14 stations failed to complete required setup procedures. 13 stations received provisional authorizations but have not completed fee payment. And 7 stations paid provisional fees but have not fulfilled final authorization requirement. Now, it's day 2 of the ongoing basic education certificate examination being held across the country. Today, the candidates are writing English and career technology. However, call it a remarkable display of determination and resilience by an eligible BC candidate who went into labor minutes to the writing of her first paper on Wednesday. Well, Francisca Mensah delivered a baby boy, and with a dint of resilience and determination, she is back to complete the rest of her papers, and we'll be bringing you more on this later. Ahead of that, the candidate from Kwanting Junior High School, currently writing the exams at Chase in the Eastern region, are forced to rely on rechargeable lamps and mobile phone flashlights to study after enduring several hours of power outage. The situation has been frustrating and stressful for the students as they prepare for subsequent days of the ongoing examinations under difficult conditions. Eastern Regional Correspondent Yvonne Nekwe spent the night with the candidates and witnessed their struggles firsthand. So we're bringing you that first report from the Eastern region from Yvonne Nekwe.
Some learning before the exercise begins.
The time we were learning, then the light off. Right now,
this thing, teachers fear they may be heavily impacted and may not be able to write the exams.
These children to this is their first time of writing this type of exams. And we didn't know it would happen when coming to, we didn't bring in the chargeable lamps. No phones and other things, so we couldn't do anything at all. Because not all of them are the same. So let me say it will affect most of the people.
Yes, the situation is not pleasant at all. Looking at the preparations that need to go into the exercise, the whole exercise, just so that they come out successfully at the examination. So as local manager of the school here, I'm just hoping that the Electricity Company of Ghana helps resolve the situation so our students could have the light for their study.
Now, the Ghana Water Company has uncovered an illegal water connection linked to private enterprises. According to investigations, the company has been tapping into the water supply unlawfully for an extended period, setting up reservoirs and creating separate sections for water storage and production. This discovery raises serious concerns about resource theft, public utility abuse, and regulatory oversight. My colleague Safwa Boahene is on the ground and she joins us live on the line. Safwa, just bring us an update on what you have heard so far.
Yeah, absolutely, Beatrice, and a very good afternoon to all your listeners. So I'm currently at Adenta Powerland where the illegal connection happened, and we went there with the whole Ghana Water Company team for that particular area, and they have, as at now, disconnected the connection that was done by a particular enterprise that has not yet been disclosed yet, but we've been told that this is an enterprise that has been working or doing this illegal connection for some time. Also, the time or the duration has also not yet been disclosed. We are being told that investigations are going to be opened to follow up so that the police can also come in the matter. So as it stands now, we're actually on our way going to the police station so that the complaints can be lodged and then they can open up the investigation for the man or whoever is responsible to come, and then the due process can be followed. And so this has been happening at the Adenta Powerland, and we are being told that it was apparently like 3 major lines, and only one was the one that was metered. And so they were paying for such a large enterprise. They were paying like less than 1,000 Ghana cedis monthly. And they are also suspecting that some of the Ghana Water Company team, who are the meter readers who come every month to also check, may have aided and abetted in it some way. That's why they're opening the investigation so that they can read more meaning into this and also continue such operations like these, because they know that there are a lot of people who are engaged in such illegal connections, as we are being told. Apparently, it was the board chairman for the Ghana Water Company board, Mr. Biligio Adama of the...
I'm sorry, Safa, we'll have to end it here because of time, but certainly we'll come to you for an update. Log on to shrenews.com for more news. Have a good afternoon.
has been a journey of Pan-Africanism and consciousness. It is your regular taxi driver with the urban blend and 3FM 92.7 in living stereo every day, Monday to Friday, from 12:30 p.m. till 3 p.m. This is the show everybody listens to, so your business will certainly do well here. My name, Black Rasta. I am the rootical, hairtical, Don Gargan, Mua Fire.
Come forward. Atinga ya chika fankare, Azure ya chika fankare, Abama ta chika fankare.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3FM.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Business Daily on 3FM 92.7. I am Menu Afolin. Coming up, Bank of Ghana moves to fully integrate digital collateral registry to boost real-time lending and financial inclusion.
The collateral registry continues to play a critical role in reducing transactional costs by streamlining the process of registering and searching for collateral and improving small and medium-sized enterprises' access to credit.
Also, Ghana ranks 8th among Africa's top 10 manufacturing countries, according to a report by the African Exponent. Plus, Fitch Ratings downgrades global oil and gas sector outlook to deteriorating from neutral due to reduced global oil demand growth and increasing non-OPEC output. We have details of these stories and others lined up for you. Please stay. Now the details. The second deputy governor of the central bank, Matilda Asante Adu, says the collateral registry is advancing efforts to become a fully integrated digital platform that aligns with Ghana's evolving financial landscape. Delivering remarks at day 2 of the registry's 15th anniversary celebration, she outlined plans to connect the platform with credit bureaus, digital identity systems, and e-government services to enhance real-time lending decisions and broaden access to finance. In a speech read on her behalf by Head of Regional Branch and Coordinating Officer Dr. Seto Amediku, she also acknowledged the continued support of key partners across the financial and legal sectors in driving the registry's progress.
The collateral registry continues to play a critical role in reducing transactional costs by streamlining the process of registering and searching for collateral and improving small and medium-sized enterprises' access to credit. As our economy becomes more digitized, the demand for innovative credit solutions will continue to grow. The collateral registry will evolve to meet these needs by integrating with other digital platforms such as credit bureaus, digital identity systems, and e-government platforms. The goal is to build a fully interoperable financial infrastructure that supports real-time data-driven decision-making and inclusive access to finance.
And that was economist and head of regional branch and coordinating office at the Bank of Ghana delivering a speech on behalf of Second Deputy Governor Matilda Asante Adu. Now, Ghana has been ranked 8th among Africa's top 10 manufacturing countries, according to a report by the African Exponent. The report highlights Ghana's long-term focus on value-added manufacturing in agriculture and cocoa, which has transformed its industrial landscape. There's more in the following news desk report.
According to the African Exponent report, the One District, One Factory initiative has contributed to the growth of small and medium enterprises in the country. Established firms like Casapreco and Fan Milk have extended Ghana's manufacturing reach internationally. The report ranks South Africa as the continent's leading manufacturing nation, followed by Egypt and Nigeria. These countries have demonstrated significant industrial growth, driven by advanced infrastructure, diversified industrial bases, and strategic partnerships. Other top manufacturing countries in Africa include Morocco, Kenya, Algeria, Ethiopia, Tunisia, and Zambia. The report highlights the leading sectors in each country, including automotive, steel, chemicals, food processing, cement, textiles, and pharmaceuticals. It further suggests that Ghana's manufacturing sector can learn from the successes of these countries and continue to grow and develop its industrial base.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Away from that, Fitch Ratings has revised its 2025 outlook for the global oil and gas sector to deteriorating from neutral due to reduced global oil demand growth and increasing non-OPEC plus output. The rating agency cited weaker economic prospects, quicker than expected unwinding of OPEC plus voluntary production cuts, and U.S. tariff announcements as contributing factors. The following report has details.
Fitch lowered its 2025 oil price assumption to $65 per barrel from $70 per barrel in April. Despite the sector outlook revision, the implications for individual issuers' ratings are likely to be limited, given their strong balance sheets. The agency expects global oil demand to grow by 800,000 barrels per day in 2025, down from previous expectations of over 1 million barrels per day. The market is expected to remain oversupplied in 2025 due to faster supply growth. Fitch-rated issuers have entered this period of market volatility with strong balance sheets, following a period of high oil prices and strong capital discipline. Fitch reduced global growth forecast for 2025 by 0.4 percentage points in April's special update to the quarterly global economic outlook and reduced growth for China and the U.S. by 0.5 percentage points against the March projections.
That was a report on Fitch Ratings revising 2025 outlook for global oil and gas sector to deteriorating from neutral. In more news this afternoon, the Federation of Associations of Ghanaian Exporters is urging for improved infrastructure in Ghana's horticulture industry to reduce post-harvest losses and boost crop yields. FAGE President Davis Kobe emphasized that Ghana has the potential to become an agri-export-driven economy, particularly leveraging the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement (AfCFTA). He noted that sustaining the recent appreciation of the local currency requires increasing exports of value-added commodities. He made the call at the Ghana Horticulture Expo 2025 in Accra.
Ghana sits on an agro-ecological gold mine fertile source, diverse microclimates, abundant rainfall, and over 60% of our labor force engaged in agriculture. Yet, the average yield per hectare of mangoes, pineapples, coconuts, vegetables, and herbs remain below benchmarks. Post-harvest losses still account for over 30% of produce due to poor infrastructure and fragment value chains. Global horticulture, a market value of $320 billion USD plus by 2030, is crying out for premium, traceable, ethically sourced tropical products from Ghana. We must ask ourselves, why not Ghana and why not now? And after and through strategic bridges to Asia, the Middle East, and the Western world, we must position Ghana as a premium origin for high-value horticulture exports.
You heard the voice of President of the Federation of Associations of Ghanaian Exporters, Davis Kobe, there. Now, before we go, the World Bank has warned that global growth is expected to slow to 2.3% in 2025, its slowest pace since 2008 due to heightened trade tensions and policy uncertainty. Growth forecasts have been cut in nearly 70% of economies worldwide. There's more in the following News Desk report.
The World Bank's chief economist notes that developing economies are facing significant challenges, with growth averaging 3.8% in 2025, more than a percentage point lower than the average of the 2010s. Lower-income countries are expected to grow 5.3% this year, but with downward pressure on forecasts. Slowing growth will impede developing economies in their efforts to spur job creation, reduce extreme poverty, and close per capita income gaps with advanced economies. Per capita income growth in developing economies is projected to be 2.9% in 2025, 1.1 percentage points below the average between 2000 and 2019. The analysis finds that if today's trade disputes were resolved with agreements that have tariffs relative to their levels in late May, global growth would be 0.2 percentage points stronger on average over the course of 2025 and 2026. The World Bank suggests that developing economies should pursue strategic trade partnerships, prioritize fiscal spending, and strengthen fiscal frameworks to weather the storm.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report on the projected slowdown in global growth in 2025 by the World Bank. Well, that's it for Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more business stories, please check out our website. It's www.3news.com. I am Minu Afo. Stay tuned. Urban Blend continues.